Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the final session in our 8-part series on Microsoft for Lawyers. Very excited today to be talking to you about Power BI and how you can gain insights from your legal data. It's the last one in our series. If you've been watching along, you'll know the ropes already, but if this is new for you, please make sure that you pop any comments in the chat. I'll be here to moderate as we go along. Any questions you have, also pop them in the chat as we go along, and we'll be sure to answer those. If you haven't seen any of our previous episodes in the series, if you're discovering us now at episode 8, we've done 7 other pieces of awesome content helping the legal community understand what's possible with the Microsoft platform. All of those are available here on our Barhead LinkedIn page. And top question that's always asked, this session will be available to watch on recording immediately after we've finished. Share with your colleagues, watch as many times as you like. So without further ado, I will introduce my colleagues. My name's Lisa Crosby. We're here today with Virtual Barhead Solutions, and I will hand over to Roshona and Amanda to get us started. Please put comments and questions in the chat as we go along. Over to you.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Roshona here, and I'll be running our demo for Power BI today. Amanda.
Thanks, Roshona. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda Fagerman. I'm the Engagement Manager for Consensus, which is a matter management and contract lifecycle management application that we've developed internally based on the Power Platform. And I've said this before, I'm really passionate about enabling legal teams with Microsoft-based technology. I wear a few other hats as a committee member of WALTA, the Women of Australian Legal Technology Association, and a geeky guru for the CLI. And I'm so excited that we've reached the final episode of our Microsoft for Lawyers series. Thanks once again to our fabulous partners, the Centre for Legal Innovation and the Australasian Society for Computers and the Law. And lastly, I just want to acknowledge on behalf of Barhead, the traditional custodians of the land that we're standing on here today, the Boonwurrung, Boon Wurrung peoples and the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung peoples of the Eastern Kulin Nation, and pay their respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders that are joining us here today. So thank you everyone for joining. You can see here we have had an incredible lineup of the past 8 sessions going all the way back to May. We're pulling all this together in the final episode today, which is all about what you can do with the data that you've captured, which is using Microsoft's business intelligence tool, Power BI. As Lisa said, all the sessions are available to watch on demand, either on LinkedIn through the event page or on our YouTube channel. So please, keep your eye posted, and we'll always welcome your feedback if you've got any other questions if you're watching this later. So I'm not going to go through all the sessions that we've had like I've done in the past. I just feel like this is such an awesome experience to tie all this together, regardless of whether or not you're in-house or private practice. Lawyers have a need for data, and ultimately they need to manage information. In order to give advice, there's a whole lot of mental aerobics that goes on in their mind where they're trying to process information, triage that internal knowledge database to filter and sort requests, and then as an output, provide that advice based on guided risk measures and business acumen. But they can't do it in their head alone. They need a system, and that is an information management system. And lawyers and Microsoft's ecosystem of applications really provides the tools to be that answer, whether that's OneNote for note-taking, or it's SharePoint for managing precedents, or collaborating in teams. Lawyers live and breathe in Outlook for communication, and Word for creating content. So there's a tool for every purpose. There's no right and wrong. We hope we've given you some tips and tricks on best practice and inspired you with the potential for what can be created. So here we are today, reaching the final episode and the last app in the series on Power BI. So let's throw over to Roshona. Roshona, can you tell us about Power BI?
Yeah, sure thing. So what I've got here is just a bit of a slide to give you a bit of a look at where Power BI sits with all the other Power Platform tools that we've talked to you about across the few sessions that we've done. So we kind of refer to this cycle as the 3 A's when it comes to the Power Platform. So we can act, with Power Apps, Power Virtual Agents. We can automate our processes with Power Automate. And then, of course, Power BI is all about the analyze stage of things. So this is where we've got all this data that we're working with, and we want to start to get some insights from all of this now. So Power BI is the tool that we use to connect to all of our data sources. So I'll give us some examples today as we go throughout the demo. Maybe you have your data sitting in something like Excel or SharePoint. It could be a Power App that you're building. Maybe it's on a website. So Power BI gives us the space to bring together all of those sources. We can slice and dice our data, and then finally find the hidden insights and trends that we're getting for that. In the end, we can create a beautiful report like we can see in the screenshots here, share them out so we can then distribute and spread out to the rest of our organization with the type of insights that we're finding here. And the tool that I'm going to show us for most of today, Power BI Desktop, is actually free for anyone to go and download. So we'll share a link later on to where you can go and find that if you want to go and try this out for yourself with what we're showing you today. So with that, bit of an intro into Power BI. Amanda, do you have any examples maybe that you can give us on how lawyers and legal teams might be using Power BI?
Yeah, for sure. Look, there is such a pressure in today's data-driven environment for legal teams to report on data and provide insights on data. And the need to stay ahead of the curve, use data for predicting outcomes and reporting is really critical to success. Excuse me. So Power BI is the tool that, as Shona says, allows you, that whole end-to-end process of act, automate, and analyze, gives you real-time interactive dashboards to provide some of those timely interactive decision-making. So you may be in a private practice team and use Power BI for billable hour reports. So you might be able to slice and dice your data based on hours by client, hours by matter, hours by practice group or region, or hours worked but not yet billed. That's always one that you want to track. Similarly, if you're an in-house, you might have a matters management dashboard that helps the legal team manage where their matters are coming from by stakeholder, by matter type, by department, or by product. Alternatively, you might have a legal service provider dashboard, really to try and help legal teams manage, spend by law firms, spend by value, spend by matter type, to help them manage their legal service providers. Or there may be a contract dashboard that helps legal teams work out contract spend by contract portfolio, by region, by product, etc. And really, the question is why? What can you do with this data? And that's where you might use this for descriptive analytics. So that's looking at, what happened in the past. The data shows that we didn't meet our billable KPIs for this month or this year. And then you might take that a next step to diagnostic analytics. Well, why? Why did something like that happen? And that's where you can use the dashboards to drill down and say, well, we didn't meet our KPIs because 35% of the billable work hasn't yet been billed, or 15% of our clients haven't paid their bills on time. And then you can move it even forward to predictive analytics. What's most likely to happen in the future? So that might be something like, we're most likely going to need some additional legal team resources because for the past 2 years in Q4, we've doubled our workload, or our workload's increased by 150%. And then even further to prescriptive analytics. So it's really then recommending what actions you can take to affect those outcomes. So if I add another resource in Q4, what sort of effect will that have on our profitability in that period? So there's so much that you can do and so much power that you can have if you've got the data at your fingertips, which is exactly what Power BI provides. So Roshona, let's go straight into the demo. Can you show us where you can find Power BI?
Yep, sure thing. So a few different ways. The one that we're going to focus on today is this tool called Power BI Desktop. So Lisa, if you have a link to where you can go and download this, can you just put it in the chat there so people can go and find it? Though if you just head over into the Microsoft App Store, look for Power BI Desktop, you'll be able to find it there. So this tool, it's free for anyone to go and download on their desktop. And this is really where we do majority of the work when it comes to Power BI. Connecting to our data, we can then do our transformation and cleaning of it, building our reports out. But this is the desktop tool. Once we share that out, we then have the online side of this where people can then consume the reports and the data that we're creating and generating here. So what we have is, let me open up my browser. There is Power BI Service, which is the online side of this. So this is where we can see all the reports that have been shared with us. Talk a bit more about this later today when we go into the sharing side of it, but this is the online version. There's also a mobile app for Power BI if you wanted to go and view all the stuff on the go. And for our Microsoft Teams users as well, it's all there in Teams too, whatever we see here in the Power BI service, the online side of it. If you've built a report out you want to share with your colleagues, you can just add it as a tab in a channel like I've done here with that report. And even there's a Power BI app within Teams. So I've pinned at the side there. And this one is essentially going to give you this Power BI service side of it, but it's embedded within Teams here as well to make it a bit easier for everyone to go and access. So Amanda, that's where we can go and find Power BI.
Wow, I really love how, every one of these apps, it's so integrated in exactly where you're doing your day-to-day work, so you can find that information wherever you are. So I guess the next step is how you can connect your data to Power BI so that you can actually generate some of those reports.
All right, so let's go through. That's really the first stage. The first thing you're going to do if you're going ahead and creating your own Power BI report. So we'll start off with, first of all, finding your data and seeing what that looks like and bringing it into Power BI. So for the ease of the demo, I think Excel is probably something everyone here uses, so I'm going to use that as our example. So let's say I've just got this spreadsheet here of all of my matter information. So I've got a number for my matters, a name, we've got who the parties are involved. So this is all the data that we want to work with to then visualize in Power BI. In a real world scenario, you might have maybe multiple spreadsheets that you're working with. You might also have your data sitting in other sources, maybe somewhere online. You can, of course, bring that into Power BI as well. So I've got this spreadsheet. I'm going to head over into Power BI Desktop now to show you how we can connect to this data. So once you're in Power BI, you'll notice that there's this button to get our data. And these are all of the sources that we can bring in. So we've got Excel, which is the one I'm doing today. There's CSV, and when that loads, you can get an idea of what else is there. Access databases, SQL Server, SharePoint, Dataverse. So if you're actually using Power Apps to manage all of this as well, like Consensus, as we've been talking about over the past few sessions, you can very easily connect to that data you have in a Power App or in Consensus and then bring it here to start creating your own custom visuals and reports. By the way, I've said the word visuals a few times, but just to let everyone know what a visual is, it's essentially what we call a graph that we're building in Power BI, because I'm bound to say it again. So a visual is something like this that we can see here. And this is my finished report that I was going to show us. All right, so those are some examples of the data sources we can connect to. So I've already connected to it at this point, and I'm going to head over into this transform data area. Some of you may have come across this tool before. It's called Power Query. It's available in some other Microsoft tools as well, such as Excel. But you use this in Power BI to do whatever cleaning and transformation you want to do on your data. So you would have noticed in my spreadsheet, I probably had a lot of things that didn't look very pretty. Like the text might have been all lowercase. I wanted it uppercase. There could be some missing values here that I need to fill in. So replacing values, changing things like the data type, if I want to make something to be a date or a text field, all of these changes and that cleaning we can do via this Power Query tool in Power BI. So we connect to our data, we clean it using this tool, which I won't go through on how to do right now, but you can see a list of all the changes I've made down the side here to just pretty it up so we can actually get some proper insights for that once we start to visualize our data. Once we're done with that, we can hit close and apply, and then that's going to load our data down the side here. So then the next part, which we're going to go through, is going to be how we can now use that we've set up here at the side. So Amanda, that's connecting to our data. What do we have next then?
Thanks, Roshona. Well, I guess, as you said, the next stage is how you can start to visualize that data once you're able to pull that data or draw from it.
It's very simple to start getting in here and start building it out. So Power BI Desktop, as with all the other tools we've shown you, is something beginners can pick up. So it's really a drag and drop interface that we have for building out our report. So really no prior experience needed to get in and start building this out. So if I wanted to start building my report out and creating some visuals for it, down the side here, I have my fields where I can see all of those fields that I had in the data that I've connected to. I can simply just drag and drop this onto my screen to see what I want. So let's go with, I wanted to see the type of the matter. I can just drag that on, and you can see it's already brought through those different types that I had sitting in that spreadsheet. Then maybe, let's say if I want to change up how this is displayed in a graph. So next to that, we have all of the different visualizations that we can use. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to use. We've got things such as your pie charts, donut charts, tree maps, column charts, line, gauges. If you just want to display it on a card, there's some interesting stuff here that you can go through and explore to pick the best way you think you want to display your data. If you don't see what you want here, there is also a marketplace where there's some custom visuals people have created. You can go and explore that if you want to make it a bit different to what we can see here. Let's go ahead and make this one a pie chart. So if I wanted a pie chart, I can just click on that. And then I can start to add in my other fields to create this. So if I want to see how many matters I have of a particular matter type, I'm going to grab in my matter number, the individual values, drag that into my values area, and you can see it's automatically created this lovely visual for us, which we can then resize and move around on the screen as we like. We can also completely change the formatting and the design of this too. So if you want to change, should there be a legend on it? Should it display the title, the look and feel of it? We can change these sort of aesthetic things from here. Another thing you could do as well is if you wanted it to match maybe your brand colors that you have across your company, you can add in your own color themes here too. So that's how we go ahead and we create this. But rather than you watching me create an entire report out right now, I'll switch over into this one that I've created beforehand. So you can see here, I've sort of designed a background for my report. You can add in different pictures and colors that you want for your background. We can add in text boxes. Let me switch over to the insert tab actually, so you can get an idea of text. We can have buttons, so people can click on a button and it can take some action here. And that's how we go ahead and create our report. Very simple. We're just dragging and dropping things around on our screen. So Amanda, now that we've got our report ready, what is the next part that we want to do?
Yeah, thanks, Roshona. And as you said, it's very simple to create the reports. I think the hard part is often working out what information you want in the reports in the first place.
I think the planning is the majority of the time, right?
What is the X and Y axis? What is my, X by Y? And how do I want to report on that? What do my executives want to see? What's going to be most meaningful for them so that they can actually digest that information? And that's where Power BI is just so powerful in its ability to give the information in a format that's digestible. So, you've got a great report, you've designed it, you've got the metrics, you've got that stakeholder engagement for what they want to see. Now you want to distribute it. Can you show us the various ways that you can actually distribute and share that report with your team?
Of course. So at this point, it's just a report you've built on your desktop. It's not shared with anybody. If you actually want to be, producing something other people can look at, that's where we come to the publishing stage of your report. You can keep updating it, by the way. So once you publish your report out, you can always come back and make whatever changes you want and then just republish it again, or it can automatically update as well. And the other thing I don't think I pointed out is that this report is interactive too. So you can also change how each of these visuals interact with one another. So if I wanted to click here and just view my matters that have been allocated to someone or the ones that are in progress, if I click on it, you can see that it will filter the rest. Or if I just want to see my matter type that are dispute and litigation, you can see I've drilled down into that particular aspect of my report. So we can change how each of these parts interact with one another. But let's go ahead and publish it out now. So publishing is what's going to take your report and then send it over into Power BI service. And that's where we can access it on the website. We can access it on Microsoft Teams, the mobile app, or whatever other way you might want to be distributing these reports out. You'll notice now when I hit publish, it's asked me for a workspace that I want to select. So a workspace, it's a bit like a team that you're working with where you're producing and publishing reports out that relate to one another. So I've just got this one here called Legal Team, and that's where I have all my legal related reports that I've built. And then the members of the team are going to be the people who these reports are relevant to. I've already published that one out, so I won't do it again. But let me show you what this looks like on the other side now. So over here, we're in Power BI service. And as a user, this is where I can go and now consume this report. So either I can just use it to take in the data and understand what's going on. I can even, if I have the permission, edit it from here. So if I want to make any changes to that report, maybe add in some other visuals, if I have the permission to, then I can make those changes from here as well. So Power BI service is how we can get that collaboration with other people. From here, we can also create our dashboards. So a report is something that looks like this, whereas a dashboard is something that can pull in visuals from a range of different reports that we might have. So I pointed that out because I think that usually people don't know the difference between the two, but I've just selected that visual here and I selected add it to a dashboard. So let's call this legal team, legal dashboard. And I'll pin that one. Let's head over into the dashboard. So I've just added one thing here, but we can resize this. And then if we have maybe multiple reports that our legal team has created, we can add in those visuals and have them in this single canvas here, which is the dashboard. So the dashboard is a bit more like an overall view of what's happening across different reports or different parts of our company. Let's see. So we've got that in Power BI service. The other thing is, if you wanted to use this via Teams instead, you definitely could. So right now I'm at app.powerbi.com, which is generally where you would go to access this. But you can also head over into Teams if you would prefer to view the report there. So it's the same thing, that Power BI service, but it's just embedded within Teams to make it a bit easier for you to go and access from there. I also showed before how you can add your reports over in Microsoft Teams. So if you just click add for a channel, click Power BI, it will let you pick the report that you want to display in a channel from there. All right, Amanda, so that's a bit about how we can share and distribute out our reports.
That's great, Roshona. Thank you. Now, lastly, can you show us maybe some other ways that you can visualize your data? Perhaps maybe if you're using something like Power Apps, are there other ways that you can chart, report, and create some of those visuals?
Yes, of course. Let's head over back into Consensus here just to show you around that. So this is the Consensus solution that we've been showing you, but this is also going to be there for any other Power App that you might be building or using at the moment. So if you want to be able to visualize your data that you have in your app, you would probably notice that there's this button which is visualize this view. So if I'm just looking at something here, like my active matters, I can just click on that button. And then in a minute or so, you'll have a report generated for you looking at this data and what you would want to see. But apart from Power BI, there's also some inbuilt dashboards as well, where you can use to surface your data that you have sitting in your Power App. So you can build a Power App like we have here in Consensus, which is a dashboard area. And this is all looking at that data that we have in it. So this type of dashboard we can customize, we can add in the types of visuals that we want to. And the other good thing about this is that we can then navigate to a particular record that we might have sitting in our app directly from the dashboard. So maybe if I want to go and see the reports or the matters from Amanda, I can drill down into that. I can also then go ahead and see all my matters from here too. I can click on them to filter the different dashboards and visuals you see on the page. So it's also easy navigation from the dashboard directly to a particular record that you want to see. All right, Amanda, I think that's it for the visualization part.
Thanks, Roshana. I think it's quite powerful there that you can actually view the underlying records that sit underneath those charts and reporting, so that if you are in a meeting and you're looking at a screen, you can click, let's expand that dashboard. Let's drill down to see all those matters and actually click through and see those matters one by one, so that you've got a lot of that automatic filter and refining. And you're doing that not only on the basis of, well, hang on, what do I want to filter by from a text-based or date-based point of view, but just by simply clicking on one of those pillars in the chart, that's going to automatically refine the data. And at the same time, you can see all the underlying records that sit in that, in your matter list, in your contract list, which is automatically coming from Dataverse, which is where the Power App is storing that information. So I guess there's two ways there. You can create your own dashboards using Power BI, which will then allow you to have a number of different data sources like spreadsheets, or you can use something like Power Apps and have that, as your underlying system of record. Okay, so look, that is the end of the formal step-by-step training. There's two exciting things that I just want to announce at the very end. One is we're offering 1 month free for Consensus. We've had such an incredible success off the back of this series, so much positive feedback and interest. We'd really love to get your feedback on Consensus as well. And you can download it for free off the app source. So please let us know what you think. Have a look at it, have a play with it. We'd love to hear from you. Take advantage of that offer so that you can get up and running as quickly as possible. And the second thing is that we are going to, take a lot of the engagement and the energy from this series and actually create it formally in a Microsoft for Lawyers community. So there's a link there on the screen which will allow you to register your interest if you haven't already subscribed or you're not already part of this LinkedIn group. Please please click on the link, register your interest. We'll be running more training, an open house session to ask the trainer, legal labs to allow you to tinker and learn in the technology, special access to Consensus if you want to have a bit more of a look and feel about how it might work for you. So please stay tuned for more information. We'd love you to stay part of this community and take this to the next step. Back over to you, Lisa, I think.
Yes, so the other thing is that if you're looking for a bit more of an extension of this, obviously we've showcased a huge wide variety of things in these sort of pocket-sized sessions in lunch breaks over the last 8 sessions. We have a whole team here. Roshana, in particular, will come and do training inside your organization. So if you're looking for further enablement, particularly around Power Platform, Power BI, Power Apps, those kinds of things, deeper training on dynamics or any of those kinds of areas that we've been looking at and how they can work for you in your organization, then we have a range of services here that we offer around enablement, which can be training in-house, upskilling your staff so that you can build your own Power Apps. We've trained thousands of people in how to do that, as well as advisory and envisioning services. So a lot of the time we talk to people who are, where do I even get started with this kind of stuff? What's on the roadmap? What should I be planning for? Where should I start in my organization? And so those are things that we can certainly help you with. I'll pop some links into the comments here that you can follow along for further resources, which Roshana is going to talk to you about now as well.
Yep. And I also see we've got a question in the chat. Let me bring it up here. Can we create triggers on certain data which can be emailed to a user? Yes, we sure can. So you can set up any custom actions you want to happen on your alerts. In a moment, and Lisa's already put it in the chat, there are some further resources which I will switch over to now. So on my blog, I have an article about that actually, which you can check out, which is more around how you can create actions on those alerts that you have set up. All right, so with the links that Lisa has put there, just to quickly run through what's there. The great thing about this Microsoft technology is that there are a lot of resources out there for you to go off and learn this stuff. And one of the first things I put here is Microsoft Learn. So you can sign up for it, and there's a range of these different modules you can work through, self-paced around any of the Microsoft technology. So if you want to learn more about Power BI, there are these modules set up you can work through, which gives you some nice structured learning around that. And if you're looking for some additional stuff, I have a blog which I've put a link to. So like I said, I do have a post around what you can do with those custom alerts and triggers on Power BI. Lisa Crosby also has her YouTube channel as well around Power Platform and Dynamics and Power Apps. And like Lisa said, we can also run this training in-house to you. But we also do have a few public sessions that we run as well. So if you just wanted to see what's up there, you can go over to our Barhead events area to check out our calendar for any upcoming sessions that we might be running. And also, if you want to do some more learning on Power Virtual Agents, soon enough, I'm going to have a course on LinkedIn Learning there where you can go and learn a bit more about that. So Lisa's put the links in the chat there. Keep them handy. But of course, connect with us on LinkedIn too. That's probably the best way to keep up to date with what we have going on as well. So follow Barhead on LinkedIn, connect with myself, Lisa, and Amanda. We're always posting about upcoming events, new features, and things that we've got going on. So looking forward to connecting with you all there. So once again, to finish us off, thank you everyone for coming along to these Microsoft for Lawyers sessions that we've been running. We've had a lot of fun running it. It was great to see everyone's interest as well. And like Amanda said, there's going to be more stuff planned down the track. So looking forward to keeping in touch. And thanks again for joining us.
Thanks everyone. We'll end the broadcast here.